Are you truly happy, or are you just convincing yourself that everything is fine? We often drift through life, buried in work, responsibilities, and daily routines. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, am I living true to my values? Life is full of paradoxes. We want happiness but avoid the truth. We crave freedom but let false expectations control us. That's exactly why you need to confront these harsh realities. They aren't burdens. They're the keys to unlocking a life of freedom, happiness, and meaning. In this video, we'll explore 5 harsh truths that are uncomfortable but essential for transforming your life forever. These aren't abstract theories, but profound lessons drawn from Stoic philosophy. Lessons that have empowered millions to face life's challenges and discover their true strength. Did you know that no one thinks about you as much as you think they do? Are you ready to accept that life isn't fair, and that's okay? And how can you turn inevitable change into an ally instead of an enemy? Don't skip ahead. Every minute you spend here will not only reshape how you see yourself, but also help you create a life worth living. Hit the subscribe button now and turn on notifications so you never miss any valuable content from us. Together, we'll not only learn, but practice becoming the strongest version of ourselves. Before we begin, here's a question for you. If there's one thing you could change to feel happier, what would it be? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story. In the next section, we'll dive into the first truth. You're not as important as you think. It might sound negative, but this is the first step toward freeing yourself from pressure and living a more authentic life. Are you ready? Let's start this journey together. 1. You're not as important as you think. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like all eyes were on you? Maybe you said something awkward, made a small mistake, or simply worried that people were silently judging your every move. It's a feeling most of us know too well. The belief that everyone is watching us, scrutinizing our every action, can be overwhelming and paralyzing. But here's the harsh truth. You're not as important as you think. At first, this might sound harsh or even dismissive. It might feel like your significance is being denied. But take a step back. This isn't about diminishing your value. It's about freeing you from a prison of self-imposed pressure. Let me explain why this truth is not only liberating, but also transformative. Psychologists call it the spotlight effect, the tendency to overestimate how much others notice and care about what we do. Imagine walking into a party with a coffee stain on your shirt. You feel embarrassed, certain that everyone sees it and is silently judging. But here's the reality. Most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to notice yours. People are consumed with their own insecurities, worries, and priorities. They aren't analyzing your every move because they're too busy thinking about themselves. That typo in the email? Your coworker probably didn't even notice because they were stressing about their upcoming presentation. Understanding this truth shifts your perspective. It shows you that the pressure you feel to perform perfectly is mostly self-created. And when you let go of that belief, you open the door to live more authentically. This idea of stepping out of the spotlight isn't new. The Stoics, who lived over 2,000 years ago, understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." What he's saying is simple yet profound. Life is short, and worrying about how others perceive you is a waste of the precious time you have. When you realize you're not the center of everyone's universe, you're freed to focus on what truly matters: your actions, your values, and your growth. Seneca, another Stoic thinker, echoed this sentiment. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of the stress we feel about others' opinions is imagined, not real. Accepting this allows you to focus on being present and purposeful rather than trying to impress. In today's world, where social media constantly bombards us with curated snapshots of others' lives, the pressure to appear perfect is at an all-time high. Every post, every comment, every selfie feels like a performance. We worry about likes, shares, and approval. But think about this. How often do you scroll through someone else's feed and forget about it moments later? That's how fleeting people's attention really is. They might notice you for a second, but their focus quickly shifts back to their own lives. The lesson? Stop living for the approval of others. When you chase validation from people who aren't even paying attention, you lose sight of what truly matters, your happiness and fulfillment. When you accept that people aren't watching you as closely as you think, a weight is lifted off your shoulders. Suddenly, you're free to take risks, make mistakes, and be unapologetically yourself. Want to try a new hobby, but afraid of looking silly? Do it anyway. Afraid of speaking up in a meeting because you might say the wrong thing? Speak up. Avoiding a difficult conversation because you're worried about judgment? Have it. When you stop fearing others' opinions, you gain the courage to live authentically. Ironically, this is what makes people truly respect and admire you. Not perfection, but authenticity. Practical steps to embrace this truth. 1. Shift your perspective. The next time you feel self-conscious, pause and ask yourself, is this really as important as I think? Remind yourself of the spotlight effect and that most people are too absorbed in their own lives to care about yours. 2. Embrace imperfection. Take small steps to get comfortable with imperfection. Wear that old outfit you love but think is out of style. Share an idea at work, even if it's not fully formed. Let yourself be seen as human. 3. Focus on what you can control. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what's within our control, our actions, thoughts, and values. You can't control what others think of you, so stop trying. Instead, focus on being the best version of yourself. 4. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness. When you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Instead, reflect on what you've learned and move forward. When you internalize this truth, life becomes lighter. You realize that the fear of judgment has been holding you back, not other people. You stop letting imagined criticisms dictate your actions. Imagine walking into a room without the weight of self-consciousness. Imagine pursuing your dreams without worrying about failure. Imagine living a life true to yourself because you know that no one else's opinion defines your worth. This truth, that you're not as important as you think, isn't about diminishing your value. It's about shifting your focus from external validation to internal purpose. It's about realizing that your life is yours to live, not a performance for others. As we move forward in this video, we'll explore another harsh truth that's equally liberating. Life isn't always fair. How do you deal with the inevitable injustices of life? How can you turn unfair situations into opportunities for growth? Stay tuned because the answers might just change the way you view the world. If this truth resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one moment where you realized people weren't paying as much attention as you thought? Share your story in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part of this life-changing series. Let's keep growing together. 2. Life isn't always fair. Have you ever poured your heart and soul into something only to watch someone less deserving take the rewards? Maybe you worked tirelessly for a promotion that went to someone else, or you treated someone with kindness and loyalty only to have them betray you. It stings, doesn't it? Here's the harsh truth. Life isn't always fair. At first, this realization might feel like a punch to the gut. After all, we grow up believing in justice. We're told that hard work pays off, that good things happen to good people, and that the world operates on a system of fairness. But as we step into the complexities of life, we quickly realize that reality doesn't follow playground rules. But don't let this truth discourage you. In fact, accepting it can be one of the most empowering things you'll ever do. Because once you stop expecting life to be fair, you can focus on what truly matters, how you respond to the unfairness. Fairness is a comforting illusion. It's the idea that the world owes us something for our efforts, our kindness, or our intentions. But the world doesn't operate on a moral ledger. The promotion doesn't always go to the most qualified. The kindest people still face heartbreak. The hardest workers don't always get the biggest rewards. And here's why that illusion is so dangerous. When we cling to it, we waste precious energy being resentful, bitter, or stuck in "why me" thinking. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, Fairness is beyond your control. What you can control is how you deal with life's inevitable unfairness. When we encounter injustice, it feels personal. We ask ourselves questions like, why didn't I get what I deserved? What did I do wrong? Why do others seem to have it easier than me? These questions fuel frustration and self-doubt, but they also miss the bigger picture. Life isn't unfair because it's out to get you. It's unfair because it's chaotic, complex, and indifferent to our expectations. Think of life like a chessboard. Sometimes the pieces are stacked against you, but the best players don't waste time complaining about their position. They strategize, adapt, and play their hand to the best of their ability. The Stoics didn't deny that life could be unjust. Instead, they taught that unfairness is an opportunity to build resilience and character. Epictetus, born a slave and later one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So how can we turn life's unfairness into a source of strength? 1. Focus on what you can control. You can't control whether life is fair, but you can control how you respond. Do you let setbacks define you, or do you use them as stepping stones for growth? Oh, lost that promotion? Use it as motivation to improve your skills. Oh, betrayed by someone you trusted? Learn to set boundaries and choose your confidants more carefully. 2. Reframe the situation. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" Oh, that heartbreak taught you how to value yourself. Oh, that failure showed you where to improve. Oh, that unfair loss pushed you to find a new and better opportunity. 3. Practice. Acceptance. Life's unfairness is a given. Fighting against it only leads to frustration. Accepting it doesn't mean giving up. It means acknowledging reality so you can move forward with clarity and purpose. Let's look at some examples of people who turned unfairness into fuel for growth. J.K. Rowling. Before becoming one of the world's most successful authors, Rowling faced rejection from 12 publishers. Was it fair that her talent went unnoticed for so long? Number. But instead of giving up, she persisted, and eventually Harry Potter was born. Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison for opposing apartheid, a system that was deeply unjust. Yet he emerged not with bitterness, but with a vision for reconciliation and justice. These stories remind us that unfairness isn't the end. It's often the beginning of something transformative. When you accept that life isn't fair, you gain a powerful sense of freedom. You stop wasting energy on things you can't change and start focusing on what you can. Instead of resenting someone else's success, you focus on your own growth. Instead of clinging to past disappointments, you look for new opportunities. Instead of waiting for the world to do right by you, you take action to create the life you want. This shift in mindset doesn't just make you stronger, it makes you happier. When you stop expecting fairness, you stop being disappointed by its absence. How to cultivate resilience in the face of unfairness. 1. Reflect on your values. Unfairness often challenges what we believe about ourselves and the world. Use these moments to reconnect with your core values. What kind of person do you want to be, regardless of life's circumstances? 2. Surround yourself with support. While life isn't always fair, having a strong support system can help you navigate its challenges. Surround yourself with people who inspire, uplift, and remind you of your strength. 3. Celebrate small wins. Even in the face of unfairness, there are victories to be found. Acknowledge your progress, no matter how small. Each step forward is a testament to your resilience. 4. Keep moving forward. The Stoics believed in taking action, no matter the odds. Keep striving, keep learning, and keep growing. Unfairness might slow you down, but it can't stop you unless you let it. Life isn't fair, and that's okay. Once you let go of the expectation that everything should go your way, you gain the clarity and strength to focus on what really matters: your actions, your growth, and your impact on the world. As we move into the next part of this video, we'll tackle another truth that many of us resist. Change is inevitable. How can we stop fearing change and start embracing it as a force for growth? Stay tuned, because the next section will show you how to turn change into your greatest ally. If this message resonated with you, I want to hear your thoughts. What's one unfair situation you've faced, and how did you overcome it? Share your story in the comments below. It could inspire someone else. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next chapter of this life-changing journey. Let's keep growing together. 3. Change is inevitable. Change. It's the one constant in life that we can count on, yet it's also one of the most feared. Think about the last time something changed in your life. Was it exciting, or did it leave you feeling anxious, unsettled, or even stuck? Maybe it was the end of a relationship, a job loss, or simply the realization that the life you planned isn't the life you're living. Here's the harsh truth. Change is inevitable. You can't stop it, delay it, or control its pace. Life is like a river, always flowing and shifting course. The question isn't whether change will happen, it's whether you'll fight it or embrace it. Change can feel like an unwelcome guest, arriving unannounced and throwing everything into chaos. But why does it scare us so much? 1. Loss of control. Change reminds us that we aren't in control of everything. We like predictability and stability, but change pulls the rug out from under us, leaving us uncertain about what's next. 2. Fear of the unknown. Humans are creatures of habit. We cling to routines because they feel safe. Change disrupts those routines, forcing us to face an unknown future that we can't predict or prepare for. 3. Attachment to the past. We often romanticize what we're leaving behind, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a way of life. Letting go can feel like losing a part of ourselves. 4. Risk of failure. Change often involves stepping into new territory, where mistakes and failures are inevitable. This fear of falling short can make us resist change, even when it's necessary for growth. The Stoics understood that resisting change is like trying to hold back the tide. It's futile and only creates suffering. Instead, they taught us to align ourselves with the natural flow of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change the things which are and to make new things like them." Change, according to the Stoics, isn't an enemy. It's a natural and essential part of existence. Without change, there is no growth, no renewal, no progress. Look at the seasons. Spring bursts with new life, summer flourishes, autumn brings transformation, and winter gives rest before the cycle begins anew. Change in nature isn't something to fear, it's something to celebrate. Your life follows a similar cycle. Each change is an opportunity for renewal and growth, even when it feels uncomfortable or painful. Like a tree shedding its leaves in autumn, you have to let go of the old to make room for the new. So, how do we stop fearing change and start seeing it as an opportunity? 1. Accept the inevitability of change. Resisting change only creates suffering. When you accept that change is a part of life, you free yourself from the constant battle against it. Ask yourself, what am I resisting and why? Remind yourself that every change, no matter how difficult, brings with it the possibility of growth. 2. Focus on what you can control. You can't control the fact that change happens, but you can control how you respond. Will you adapt, learn, and grow? Or will you cling to what's already gone? Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." 3. See change as a teacher. Every change carries a lesson, even the ones that hurt. A failed relationship teaches you about your needs and boundaries. Losing a job pushes you to explore new opportunities. Reflect on past changes in your life. What did they teach you? How did they make you stronger? 4. Take small steps forward. Change can feel overwhelming, but you don't have to tackle it all at once. Focus on one small step at a time. Each step builds momentum and helps you regain a sense of control. Let's look at some examples of how people turned life's changes into opportunities. Steve Jobs. When Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded, it could have been the end of his career. Instead, he used the time to explore new ventures, which eventually led to his return to Apple and its greatest innovations. Oprah Winfrey. Early in her career, Oprah was removed from a news anchor position, a decision that felt devastating at the time. But that change redirected her to a talk show format where she found her true calling and became a global icon. These stories remind us that change, even when painful, can lead to extraordinary growth and success. Practical steps to embrace change: 1. Reflect on your resistance. Take time to identify what's holding you back from embracing change. Is it fear, attachment, or uncertainty? Once you understand the root of your resistance, you can start to let it go. 2. Practice gratitude. Instead of focusing on what you're losing, shift your focus to what you're gaining. Gratitude helps you see the opportunities within change. 3. Surround yourself with support. Change is easier to navigate when you have a strong support system. Share your journey with friends, family, or mentors who can offer guidance and encouragement. 4. Develop resilience. Resilience is the ability to adapt to change and bounce back from setbacks. You can build resilience by cultivating a growth mindset, practicing self-care, and focusing on long-term goals. 5. Celebrate your progress. Acknowledge and celebrate the steps you've taken to adapt to change. Every small victory strengthens your confidence and prepares you for the next challenge. When you embrace change, you gain more than resilience. You gain freedom. Freedom from the fear of the unknown. Freedom to grow, explore, and create a life that aligns with your values. Imagine a life where you welcome change instead of resisting it, where you see every challenge as a chance to learn, where you trust that even the hardest changes are leading you towards something better. Change is inevitable, but suffering is optional. By accepting and embracing change, you transform it from a source of fear into a source of power. In the next part of this video, we'll explore another harsh truth. Happiness is your responsibility. How can you stop waiting for happiness to find you and start creating it for yourself? Don't miss the next section. It might just change the way you see your life forever. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one change in your life that shaped you into who you are today? Share your story in the comments. It could inspire someone else. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this transformative journey. Let's keep growing together. 4 inches. Happiness is your responsibility. What makes you happy? Is it the love of another person, the success of your career, or the comfort of material possessions? Most of us are conditioned to believe that happiness comes from external circumstances, that it's something we find or are given. But here's the harsh truth. Happiness is your responsibility. No one is coming to save you, to fix your problems, or to hand you a life of joy on a silver platter. If you're waiting for the perfect job, the perfect partner, or the perfect moment to feel happy, you'll be waiting forever. True happiness doesn't come from what happens to you. It comes from how you choose to respond to life. Taking ownership of your happiness can feel daunting, even unfair. After all, isn't it easier to believe that external factors are to blame for your discontent? I'd be happy if my boss appreciated me more. I'd be happy if my partner changed. I'd be happy if I had more money. This mindset, while comforting, places your happiness outside your control. It makes you a victim of circumstances, waiting for others to make things right. But here's the truth. Blaming the world for your unhappiness doesn't fix anything. It only keeps you stuck. The Stoics believed that happiness is an inside job. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Happiness, according to the Stoics, is not about avoiding challenges or accumulating pleasures. It's about living in alignment with your values, practicing virtue, and mastering your mindset. You can't always control external events, but you can control how you perceive and respond to them. And that is where happiness begins. One of the biggest barriers to taking responsibility for our happiness is the need for external validation. We tie our self-worth to the approval of others, believing that happiness comes from being liked, admired, or praised. But chasing validation is like chasing shadows. It's fleeting and unsatisfying. Imagine this. You post a picture on social media and it gets 100 likes. For a moment, you feel good. But then, the feeling fades, and you're left wanting more. The Stoics remind us to seek internal validation instead. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. True happiness comes from living in accordance with your values, not from the fleeting approval of others." So, how do you shift from a mindset of waiting for happiness to one of creating it? 1. Change your perspective. Happiness isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you interpret it. A rainy day can feel like a disappointment or an opportunity to cozy up with a book. The choice is yours. Ask yourself, how can I reframe this situation to see it in a more positive light? 2. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to unhappiness. When you focus on what you have instead of what you lack, you create a mindset of abundance. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. Over time, you'll train your mind to notice the good in your life. 3. Live with intention. Happiness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build through deliberate action. Define your values, set meaningful goals, and take steps toward them every day. Ask yourself, what small action can I take today to align with the life I want? 4th, let go of what you can't control. Much of our unhappiness comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. The Stoics teach us to focus on what's within our power, our actions, thoughts, and choices, and let go of the rest. Next time you're frustrated, pause and ask, is this something I can change? If not, how can I let it go? Let's look at people who took ownership of their happiness despite challenging circumstances. Viktor Frankl. A Holocaust survivor, Frankl endured unimaginable suffering. Yet, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, he wrote, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Even in the darkest of times, Frankl found meaning and purpose, demonstrating that happiness is possible, even in adversity. Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty and faced with numerous hardships, Oprah didn't wait for life to hand her happiness. She created it by pursuing her passions, aligning her life with her values, and making the most of every opportunity. These stories remind us that happiness isn't about circumstances, it's about mindset and action. Practical steps to create your own happiness, sir. Reflect on what truly makes you happy. Take time to identify what brings you genuine joy. Is it spending time with loved ones, pursuing a creative hobby, or helping others? Focus on these things and let go of activities or goals that don't align with your happiness. 2. Practice mindfulness. Happiness isn't found in the past or future, it's found in the present moment. Cultivate mindfulness through practices like meditation, deep breathing, or simply being fully present in your daily activities. 3. Prioritize self-care. You can't be happy if you're constantly neglecting your physical, emotional, and mental health. Make time for exercise, rest, and activities that rejuvenate you. 4. Surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with can have a significant impact on your happiness. Surround yourself with those who uplift, inspire, and support you. 5. Celebrate small wins. Don't wait for big milestones to feel happy. Celebrate the small victories along the way, completing a task, learning something new, or simply getting through a tough day. When you take responsibility for your happiness, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for others to make you happy and start creating the life you want. Imagine waking up every day with the knowledge that your happiness isn't dependent on anyone or anything outside of you. Imagine feeling confident that, no matter what life throws your way, you have the tools to navigate it with grace and resilience. Happiness is your responsibility, and that's a good thing. It means you have the power to create it, nurture it, and sustain it, no matter what life throws at you. In the next part of this video, we'll explore the final harsh truth. No one owes you anything. How can embracing this truth free you from entitlement and empower you to live with purpose? Stay tuned, because this final lesson ties everything together. If this truth resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's one way you've taken responsibility for your happiness? Share your story in the comments. It could inspire someone else to do the same. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this transformative journey. Let's keep growing together. 5. No one owes you anything. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, I deserve better than this, or why didn't they appreciate what I did for them? It's a natural reaction. We work hard, give our best, and hope that the world will recognize and reward our efforts. But here's the harsh truth. No one owes you anything. It might feel unfair, even disheartening, but this truth is one of the most liberating realizations you can have. The world doesn't operate on a system of debts and obligations in your favor. Once you accept that, you can stop waiting for others to validate you and start living life on your own terms. At its core, entitlement is the belief that we are owed something: success, love, respect, or happiness, just because we exist or because we've done what we think is enough. But entitlement sets us up for disappointment, resentment, and frustration because it's based on false expectations. 1. The world doesn't follow your script. Life is unpredictable. Just because you've worked hard doesn't mean success will follow. Just because you've been kind doesn't mean kindness will always be returned. 2. People have their own lives and priorities. Others aren't obligated to fulfill your expectations or repay your efforts. They're busy navigating their own challenges and ambitions. 3. Unrealistic expectations lead to suffering. When we believe the world owes us, we place ourselves in a victim mindset. We wait for external factors to change instead of taking action ourselves. The Stoics taught that freedom comes from letting go of external expectations. Epictetus famously said, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want, welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." This doesn't mean you should stop striving for success, love, or happiness. It means you stop expecting the world or others to hand it to you. Instead, you focus on your own actions, values, and mindset. Acknowledging that no one owes you anything can feel like a blow to your ego. After all, we're taught from a young age that good behavior will be rewarded and hard work will pay off. I did everything right. Why didn't I get the promotion? I sacrificed so much for them. Why didn't they appreciate me? I've worked so hard. Why haven't I achieved my dreams yet? These questions come from a place of expectation. And when reality doesn't match those expectations, we feel cheated. But here's the thing. Life isn't a transaction. Your efforts aren't currency that guarantees specific outcomes. When you stop believing that the world owes you, you free yourself from a cycle of entitlement and resentment. You take ownership of your life and focus on what you can control. 1. You stop waiting for validation. When you realize no one owes you recognition, you stop seeking approval from others. You start doing things because they align with your values, not because you expect applause. 2. You take full responsibility for your life. If no one owes you anything, then your success, happiness, and fulfillment are entirely in your hands. This shift in mindset empowers you to take action instead of waiting for circumstances to change. 3. You build genuine relationships. Entitlement can poison relationships. When you let go of the expectation that others owe you love, support, or loyalty, you approach relationships with gratitude and mutual respect rather than demands. How to embrace the truth that no one owes you anything. 1. Reframe your perspective. Instead of focusing on what you believe you're owed, focus on what you can give. Gratitude and generosity create a more fulfilling mindset than entitlement. Ask yourself, what can I contribute to this situation? 2. Set boundaries. Letting go of entitlement doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It's okay to set boundaries and remove yourself from situations where you're being mistreated. Remember, no one owes you anything, but you also don't owe your energy to people who take advantage of you. 3. Celebrate the unexpected. When you stop expecting rewards, you start appreciating the moments when life surprises you. A kind gesture, a word of encouragement, or an unexpected opportunity feels like a gift rather than something you're owed. 4. Focus on internal rewards. Do things because they align with your values, not because you expect recognition. The satisfaction of knowing you acted with integrity is often more rewarding than external validation. Let's look at individuals who embrace the truth that no one owes them anything. Nelson Mandela. After 27 years of imprisonment, Mandela could have emerged filled with bitterness and a sense of entitlement for justice. Instead, he focused on what he could do to heal and unite South Africa, demonstrating the power of taking responsibility rather than waiting for reparations. J.K. Rowling. Before her rise to fame, Rowling faced numerous rejections from publishers. Instead of feeling entitled to success because of her talent, she kept pushing forward, knowing that success wasn't guaranteed. These stories show that letting go of entitlement doesn't mean giving up. It means taking ownership of your journey and persevering in the face of challenges. Practical steps to apply this truth. 1. Practice gratitude. Shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Gratitude reduces feelings of entitlement and helps you appreciate the blessings in your life. 2. Detach from outcomes. Pursue your goals with determination, but let go of the expectation that specific results are guaranteed. Ask yourself, am I doing this for the right reasons or because I expect a reward? 3rd, stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison fuels entitlement. Focus on your unique journey rather than measuring yourself against others' successes. 4. Find joy in giving. When you give without expecting anything in return, you create deeper connections and a sense of purpose. 5. Embrace growth. Use every challenge, failure, and setback as an opportunity to grow. Remember, no one owes you success, but you owe it to yourself to keep improving. When you embrace the truth that no one owes you anything, you reclaim your power. You stop wasting energy on expectations and start directing it toward meaningful action. You become less reactive to life's disappointments and more focused on what truly matters. Imagine living a life where your happiness, success, and relationships aren't dependent on others' approval or recognition. Imagine the freedom of knowing that you hold the keys to your own fulfillment. The world doesn't owe you anything, but that's not a curse. It's a blessing. It means you have the power to shape your life, free from the weight of unmet expectations. As we conclude this video, take a moment to reflect on the 5 harsh truths we've explored. Which one resonated with you the most? And how will you apply these lessons to your life moving forward? If this truth hit home for you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your story in the comments. It could inspire someone else to embrace their own journey. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to stay connected with our growing community of seekers. Together, we can live with intention, strength, and clarity. Let's keep growing together.